Hey guys, I am back and today I'm going to be doing my next update to my Pan Those Eyeshadow Palette series. I'm going to be completely honest, I'm filming this about a week early than I normally would film this video, just in the month, but I am ready to move on with the new palette for a couple of reasons, and I'm going to talk about them when I talk about kind of my reflection of my palette. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. I am so excited to be rolling out my Huda Beauty new Nude palette. So I was working on the shades Spanked, Raw, and Charmed, which I will swatch right here. Spanked needs to get up a little bit. So that's Spanked, Raw, and Charmed. I really love the shade Charmed. I think it's beautiful. It's one of those shades where, like, I don't know if anyone else notices. I was so happy to be working on the shade Charmed because it's just such a beautiful shade, and I've noticed that I think it brings up my eye color because a lot of people compliment me and say my eyeshadow looks really beautiful when I'm wearing this shade. So I think it just kind of, like, there's something about it that just complements my skin tone or something because it is so beautiful. Raw, nice shade. I've been painting it since the beginning of this project, and then I rolled in Spanked last month as well. So this past month I hit a little bit of a wall with painting for two reasons. The first is for a full week I was pretty much, it's like 4 days, I was driving out to Minnesota. I was not wearing makeup to drive all day, and that's just how the cookie crumbled. So I wasn't really working on these shades. And then there's something about having like 3 very full shades that I know I'm not going to finish or hit pan on in a month, hit pan on in a month, that just kind of demotivated me. Now, I did still play a lot with this palette. If you missed my products I'd like to pan in 2022, like 6-month check-in, that eye look I did the other day, I really loved it. I was playing around with these shades and then the shade Tickle. I really loved that look. I did a look, I've been doing looks where I just kind of take some of these more boring mattes and then a little bit of liner every day for work, but not necessarily the 2 mattes that I have rolled in, since they're very dark and they're a little bit harder to use on like just a 5-minute face out the door kind of look. So that's why I think I've seen less progress on this palette than I have in past months. I'm sure if I had really dedicated myself to one of these 3 shades, I could have potentially hit pan on it if I was going to do my makeup every day, use that shadow every day. But it just kind of reached a point where I enjoy playing with this palette. I will probably play with this palette again today because we're going to go out later tonight and I'll bump up my eyeshadow for it, and I really do enjoy using this palette, but it is a difficult palette to pan. I don't think I could ever do a year-long project pan of this palette because it has such a specific color story. It is so pink, and I love those looks that I create with it, but there are days where I want to do something that's more like bronze, but not a pink bronze, just bronze, or cool toned but not pink cool toned like taupe, you know. So it's hard to use this palette for 6 months or like 12 months straight. 3 months, maybe 4 months is probably going to be my limit with this palette. So I would love to do more rolling focus projects like this in the future, and I would hope to see more progress on it, or take this palette with me traveling or something like that when I'm going to be using it every day, and it's going to be for like 2 weeks, and so I'll just use it really consistently for a couple of weeks and then put it back in my collection. But again, I don't think I could ever say I'm going to use this palette every day until I finish it up. I would get very bored, or just, you know, I like doing my makeup, but I also do like clothes and other things and nail polish and stuff like that, and I tend to like to coordinate my outfits somewhat. So it's such a specific but also bright color story. It's not neutrals. I mean, they are neutral-ish, but it's not neutral tones. So it's not like I can just wear these shades with everything. Sometimes I feel like they clash with my glasses a little bit. So while I do love this palette, I am very excited to be rolling it out and start on my next palette, which I will get into in a second. Before I go and roll my new shades, I wanted to quickly compare where I started to where I'm looking now, because I have gotten a lot of great progress on this palette. So as you can see, I didn't have any pans on this palette when I started, and now I have 3. So I've been hitting roughly a pan a month with this project. Not necessarily like I have a pan every month, but I've been getting, that's my panning rate, so to speak. So that's really nice. I also have definitely played with this palette more than I have in the past. I think the only shades that I didn't touch, aside from the concealer shade, which I really just need to dig out. I don't ever use that because that was a dumb idea. I don't know why they wanted to put a concealer eye primer in an eyeshadow palette. First of all, eyeshadow gets in it, it's janky and gross. And this is just such an unpleasant consistency. It's so firm. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. But rant about that aside, I think the only shades that I did not use at least once during this project were Kinky and Excite. So that means that I feel like I've gotten really good exploration of this palette. I've used all of the other shades. I honestly might have used Kinky, I just don't specifically remember using Kinky. But yeah, I've done some really beautiful looks with this palette, and I'm really happy to have played with it, but I am excited to put it to rest. So if this is your color story and you're happy using this every day, I think it's a good quality palette. I just don't necessarily, it's not my every single day palette. So if you missed my introduction and you don't know what palette is coming next, I will make sure to link my playlist of this project as well as my other projects going on down below, because I talk about kind of my thought process with picking each of the palettes I did. But next is my Lorac Pro Palette. This I've had for almost 5 years now. It'll be 5 years this December. That's a long time. And because of that, this is honestly one of the oldest palettes in my collection. I think it's the second oldest, it's the third oldest palette in my collection. It's getting up there. This is what it is looking like now. As you can see, I have 2 pans in this palette, so those 2 shades are not going to be eligible for me to pan, but I hopefully will be seeing progress on them. And I have thought a little bit about if I want to exclude any shades from this. Primarily the black shade and the white shade. The white shade is very bright, like bright white. But I think I'm just going to exclude the black shade. But I think for now, I'm not going to exclude shades from being able to be rolled in. But if like the black or the white shade specifically, if I do roll them in and I'm really struggling with it, like I don't like it, then I will roll it out and roll in a new shade next month. But everything else I'm going to try to hit pan on. So this is what my palette is looking like. I have a small dip in espresso, a small dip in sable, and then some use on light bronze and gold. But other than that, things are mostly not showing much use. So I am going to roll in 3 shades between 1 and 14. So white is 1, light pink 2, 3, 4, and then starting over and moving red. So I do left to right in each row, like you would read. So I've got my calculator. Oh, you have to validate in iOS? That's so smart. And then I'm gonna go to probability, random integer. So the 3 shades that I rolled in are 4, 2, and 11. So I'm just gonna do them like in order. 2 is light pink, so white is 1, skip these 2, save pan. 2 is light pink. This is a shade that I have struggled with using because like the white shade, it is so bright. That's not there. This has the opposite problem to my Huda palette. The Huda palette, sometimes I had to build things up a lot, and this palette is very pigmented. 4 is the shade Sable, 2, 3, 4, which is a mid-toned brown. Nope, that is the wrong shade. Right there. And then 11 is the shade Pewter. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is a taupey bronzy shade, I feel. So that's Pewter. I think Pewter is such a beautiful shade, and I've always like very tentatively dipped my toe into it, but we shall see how it goes this upcoming month. So these are the 3 shades that I'm going to be trying to hit pan on. Of course, oh my goodness, I made a mess. Of course, if I hit pan on any other shades, that will be great, very beneficial towards my overall goal of getting use out of this palette. But for now, my goal is these 3 right here, and I will come back in a month, see where we are with this palette. Hopefully we can get some good use. I'm not sure how long it'll take me to use up or to hit pan on Sable. I might try mixing Sable with either cream or white to just lighten it just a little bit to make it more of a crease shade than like an outer V shade. And then Pewter is a beautiful shade. I'm gonna have fun playing with that one. And I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to use light pink, but we shall see how that one goes. I'm not sure yet, but that'll be good. So that is everything that I have for today's video. If you're excited to see how my progress goes on these 3 shades, please come back in a month. I am so excited to hear back from people and have people return to watch my videos. If you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, queries, drop them in the comment section down below. If you're interested in my other project pans, make sure to check out the description box below for my playlist. I organize all of my project pans into playlists so that they're really easy to click and binge. And other than that, that is everything that I have for today's video. Thank you so much, and I hope you are having an incredible day wherever you are. Thanks, guys.